friend Roger Christopherson here again. I don't even know what I'm going to call this. The year-end or review, favorites, top whatever, because I was going to say 10, because that's what I originally sat down to do, was make a list of albums I wanted to babble about being my favorite, and I was going to whittle it down to like 10 or 20 or something like that, and I just decided I'm not going to do that, because music is about breaking the rules. And that's what we're going to do here. We're breaking the rules. We're just going to, I honestly don't even know how many I have on the list, but these are the ones that I found myself going back to the most, and remember the most, enjoyed the most, all over the place, no particular order, styles, genres, all over the place, but these are the albums that I felt were my favorites, just did something special, stood out from the crowd, for whatever reason. Some people may agree with what I chose. You may totally disagree with what I chose. Feel free to leave your own list. Name as many as you want. I don't even care. It's just about talking about music. That's all this channel is about, just talking about music and bringing more music to people's attention that you might have missed. It's all it's about, just sitting down with your friends and chit-chatting about music. So kick back if you want to do that, and then hopefully enjoy the list I came up with. And I'm just going to go through it real quick because there's a lot on here, and I don't want this video to be like an hour long or anything. So I'm going to keep this as short as I possibly can. So start out with Pineapple Thief, and it leads to this. Cool album. It was. I had never listened to these guys before. This was actually a cool introduction for it, and they actually came out with an EP at the end of the year called Last to Run, which I guess was extras and stuff like that. I have not listened to that yet. I actually have it, but I haven't listened to it yet, so that's supposed to be a continuation of this. Can't wait to listen to that. I'll probably be doing that within the next few days. Amaranthi, The Catalyst. I thought that was cool. I love this band. Fell in love with these guys like a long time ago. I just thought it was a cool album. I knew what to expect, and it didn't let me down. It's just a fun album. Bruce Dickinson's Mandrake Project. Some people may have forgotten about this one, but I thought it was a cool album. Really enjoyed that one. Very inventive and, whatever. So next on the list is Judas Priest and Invincible Shield. I think everybody loved this album. I haven't heard really too much bad about it. But the cool thing about Judas Priest is they came in at the end of the year with a remix of Rock-A-Rolla, which I thought was awesome. That's like one of my favorites of theirs. So what a cool year for Judas Priest. Blue Oyster Cult. All of them. Everything they came out with this year. The Ghost Stories, the extra stuff, the live albums they came out with. Just did a review on the Third Night one. Love this band. Black Sabbath's Anno Domini, the box set, mainly for Forbidden. Forbidden was worth it. They actually have that out there in a single disc now, so maybe just Black Sabbath Forbidden would be a better option, but that remix makes that album so good, worth the price of admission right there. Slash's Orgy of the Damned. I really enjoyed this album. Especially the surprise part was, what's her name there? Demi Lovato. That song, that one actually blew my mind. Such cool stuff on here. Def Leppard's One Night Only, cool intimate live show. Really loved that. The feel of this show it was just fun. It's completely different than anything I've heard from these guys. Evergrey, I love Evergrey. Theories of Emptiness, cool album. Love that band. Singing on it is just so unique, and just love them. Loverboys live in '82, cool, like Lost live album. Really dug that one. Black Country Communions 5. Glenn Hughes, how can you go wrong? Kiss and Dynamite for me, back with a bang. New band I never listened to before. I was surprised how much I like this album. I went back and started listening to their old catalog. Did a review on one of their older albums, suggested by one of the comments, and I did that. Even though I didn't get a whole lot of views, it was still fun to do. The Testament's reissues of The Legacy New Order I thought were great, and some of my favorite thrash albums were by those two by Testament. One of the highlights of the year, this might rank up near number one for me, was Deep Purple's Equals One. What a great return to form for them. Love that one. Pete Townshend's Live in Concert box set, even though I had everything in here, it was cool to hear it remastered and redone. Love Pete Townsend, one of my favorite songwriters and artists of all time. Also, right in line here is John Wetton's Consenius, the live box set of his. I was almost put the other box set on, but I realized that came out the end of last year. So 2 box sets right in a row from John Wetton. I think this was a volume 1 too, if I remember right, so hopefully there's more stuff coming out from him. King Crimson's Lark's Tongues and Aspic and Red box sets, the anniversary editions of those. amazing. Just did a review of Red. Love these albums. Alex Lifeson's Victor, their remix, made this a completely new album. Really dug that. Simone Simmons' Vermilion, which I think got severely overlooked. Great album. You should check that out. That is such a good album. Flotsam and Jetsam's I Am the Weapon. Cool thrash. I mean, I was not expecting this one to be that good. Really enjoyed that album. Michael Schenker's My Years with UFO. Fun album. That's all I can say. Didn't reinvent the wheel or anything, and didn't make any improvements on the old UFO songs, but it was still a fun listen nonetheless. It's Michael Schenker. How can you go wrong? I actually have Nightwish Yesterwind on here, which I really enjoyed. Nightwish, I know this got a little bit of ragging on, but I really enjoyed the album, so that is what it is. I liked it. Rainbow's Live in Munich, 77. Finally got a decent release. I mean, Rainbow is just one of my favorite bands of all time. Richie Blackmore just sounds great. It's got an awesome feel to it. House of Lords, Full Tilt Overdrive, just James Christian's voice that this makes. Anything he releases throughout the years is going to be like something I'm going to love. Now this one I never mentioned. I didn't do a review on anything, but Verdun Daisel and the Burning Breeze, they have a song called Round Up the Wagons. That album kicks ass. It's like bluesy rock, touches of country, but rock and heavy. It's such a good album. I was just listening to it the other day again. My kid had it, and my kid doesn't like the music I listen to. He likes country, but even he thought this was cool, and it rocks. So I don't know if I did that any justice, but there's my 30-second review of that one. Get it. It's really good. Get that album. And then surprise for me, I'd never checked these guys out before, was Frost and Life in the Wires. That, if you're into prog in that style of, I don't know, I guess sort of, I don't want to say it wrong, but older style prog, but more modern sounding. Great band. After hearing this album, I went out and got a bunch of their other albums, which I still haven't had a chance to listen to yet, but love it when bands do that. When I hear something cool, it makes me want to check out everything. Then I got Jerry Cantrell, I Want Blood. Cool albums, Jerry Cantrell. If you love Alice in Chains and stuff he did, and you still love them, it's not anything out of the ordinary, but he did do some cool new things on there I haven't heard him do before, still with the old Jerry Cantrell feel. So Jethro Tull's Christmas album, just got that one. Loved. I actually just listened to it again last night. This is like the last album I had on before I went to bed last night. That's how much I liked it. And they also had bursting out the I forget what they call it now, the bonus version, the super edition. There's a special name for it, and I can't think of what it is now, with all the extra stuff. That was great. Cassandra's Crossing, which was some girl named Cassandra with George Lynch. It was on Frontiers. It's called The Garden of Earthly Delights. That was a great rock album if you're in the Dokken and you want to hear what Dokken would have sounded like with a female singer. That's kind of what I got the feel of that one. Stripers, When We Were Kings, heavy. One of the best ones they've done on their newer albums. I really enjoyed that one, actually. Stripers been doing a lot of cool stuff lately. I really like that one. Whitesnake Into the Light box set. That was awesome. I love David Coverdale, one of my favorite bands of all time. I say that a lot, but they really are. Hearing the remixes of the earlier albums and what they did with all the AI to make it more modern sounding and just up-to-date sounding, because they really, the originals have a cool feel to it, and they didn't lose that. So really dug that. I did a full review of that too if you want to check it out. Did a review of the next one here too, Devin Townsend's Power Nerd. Didn't get a whole lot of views, which surprised me because, man, Devin Townsend is just like a killer musician, insanely talented. Great rock album. It wasn't like one of his, really strange endeavors, but if you're into Devin Townsend's rock stuff, that's the album to check out. One of the cool surprises for me here was Sweet and their Isolation Boulevard. It's the new version of the band, doing a bunch of the old songs. It sounded great. It was fun. It really sounded good. I was really impressed with that one. The Who's live at Shea Stadium. Finally got out on CD. I've heard it before, but it's just nice to have on CD. I love The Who, my favorite band of all time, and it's just cool to have that, so it's got to make the list. Mark Knopfler's One Deep River, I did a review of that. I was actually super impressed with how great that sounded. What a cool feel that album had. And just, if you're in the mood for Mark Knopfler and that style of music, awesome. Here's another one I hear I think everybody loved, was Johnny Anderson and the Band Geeks with the album True. Terrible album cover, great album. The most yes-sounding thing I've heard in years. Just can't say enough good about that one. I did a review on that one too, so check it out. Another cool one, T-Bone Burnett and his Other Side album. This T-Bone has such a cool style of production and sound. What really brought me to really notice him was the stuff he did with Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, and man, just a cool feel, moody type stuff. Really loved it. Getting close to the end here. David Gilmour's Luck and Strange. Love David Gilmour. Pink Floyd's been one of the bands I've listened to my entire life, and anything David Gilmour does. He had a bunch of his family members involved in this one too. Really cool stuff. Another Yes thing here was the Talk Expanded Edition, which I listened to that a lot. It's one of my favorite overlooked, I think, Yes albums. And also Fragile had a super deluxe edition with a whole bunch of bonus stuff this year too, so just throw that in there inside. That was really cool. There's a standalone version of Record Store Day. They did just the bonus stuff. That was only on vinyl, but the super deluxe edition was on CD if you want to get that in there. Another I really don't think anybody really knew about was Jimmy Jamison, the former lead singer of Survivor. Did a country album called Jimmy Wayne Jamison. Got it. It is country sounding. Everything was written by Jim Peterick, the main songwriter for Survivor. Still has a rock feel to it. I mean, yeah, it's got a little country twang to it. It really wasn't that country at all, honestly. And if you love Jimmy's voice, that was definitely worth getting. I actually enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to. Tom Petty's Long After Dark box set, killer. It's one of his, I think, more overlooked albums, but that was a killer box set. The extra stuff, even though the order of the songs on the bonus stuff was really strange, it was cool to have it all, so that was worth checking out. Queen 1, and I had somebody comment on here, it's not called Queen 1 because I did a review of this one. Well, it is now. That's what they're calling it now. They're calling it Queen 1. I don't make up the rules for what they call it. That's what it's being called. The original album was just called Queen. I get it. But this now is called Queen 1. It's the box set. I actually was just listening to this a couple days ago too, because there's so much stuff involved in that. It's kind of hard to absorb it all from first listen. So go back and check it out. I mean, if you're a Queen fan, you gotta have this one of the best, in my opinion. The first few albums, three albums of Queen were their best ones. So personal notes thrown in there, but that's what this is all about. So there you go. We got Warren Haynes, Million Voices Whisper, awesome bluesy sounding album. Can't say enough good about that one. I mean, it's Warren Haynes. It's just, he's got that soul in his voice, man, and in his guitar playing. I mean, how does somebody get that blessed to be talented at so many, like, two things? Anyway, Trapeze, The Lost Tapes, Volume 2. The more I listen to this one, the more I like it, even though some of their recording quality wasn't top-notch. The songs are so good that it doesn't matter, so worth checking that one out. I did a review of that one, too. Actually, the former bass player there of Trapeze made a comment on that, and I had to give him a little bit of a shout out in there. So if you want to see who that was, go watch the review of that one. Just tempting to go watch that one. It's a little self promotion here. Southside Johnny and the Jukes, and the Asbury Jukes, excuse me, and they're live at Capitol Theater in 1978. Not a lot of people watch this one either, but what a great album! It was a live show. It just has such a cool feel to it, cool vibe. Southside Giant does not get the recognition he deserves. This is such a good album. Any of his earlier ones especially are worth checking out. Surprise for me was Thin Lizzy's box set in 1976. I know some people didn't like the remixes of it. There's a couple things in the remixes I didn't like, I'm not going to lie, but overall I thought it was really good, and anything Thin Lizzy's worth happening. And I just heard recently they have a new album coming out, old stuff with Phil Lynott playing bass and singing, and then the guys from the band that are still around today going in and adding some acoustic instrumentation to it. And I guess that's coming out here in January, I believe. So that'll be worth checking out. Sunbomb, Light Up the Sky, which is, Tracy Guns and Michael Sweet. The first one was killer. This one's not quite as good, but still a great album. Still worth checking out if you're in not what you would expect. It's just not what you would expect at all. It's like new wave of British heavy metal played by these two guys is kind of the feel I got from it anyway. But I don't think this one came out this past year, but I've been listening to it a lot. It's an artist named Leah, Glory in the Fallen. I'll give that a shout out. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but symphonic metal. She's kind of known as the Enya of metal, and it's really fitting. She does a lot of cool vocal layering over metal music. It's really good. I actually don't remember when that actually came out, so it may have been last year, but I'm throwing it in here anyway because I didn't start listening to it until the beginning of this past year anyway. So almost there. We're almost there. Just hang in there. This is going a little bit longer than I thought, but it is what it is. I don't know if this is pronounced Goddess or Goddess, but it's a Frontiers project. But it was awesome. Self-titled album, like heavy melodic rock. Did a review of this one too, so check that one out. Saxon, which I had not really listened to a lot. If you can believe that, I had not really listened to a ton over the years. But this album, Hellfire and Damnation, was killer. It was great, and that made me want to go back and check out earlier stuff. But this album was really good. And next on the line, I got Russell Guns, which is, Tracy Guns, and Jack Russell. Jeez, I almost forgot what I was saying. They have an album called Medusa. It was kind of really surprisingly good because some of the times these projects don't work out great, but Tracy Guns has kind of been blessed with like these projects, and what a great melting together of those two talents right there. It worked way better than you possibly could have ever imagined. I really enjoyed that one. And then the final one I have on my list here is Magnum, Here Comes the Rain. Just a fine way to end their career. I actually think they have a live album coming out in January too. So that's just the quick list I had, as quick as I could make it. This video ran a little long, but that was a lot of albums, and I could not take any of those off of there. I know, and I probably even going through the list, and I went down and looked at all the albums that came out this past year, and checked it twice. Did my little Santa Claus thing, and I probably still missed some. So if there's anything you feel that I should have included on this list or didn't say enough about, feel free to comment. That's what this is all about. And until next year, because I don't think I'll be doing anything the rest of the year here, because not a whole lot going on, but maybe we'll see. I don't know. Until then, we'll see you. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Did my little tagline too early. Like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because that's what this is all about, just talking about music and keeping it alive and keeping it going, and just getting some of these bands out there known, a little bit more recognition, and more people listening to them. So until next time, we'll see you.